Welcome back to the Fame Files, everyone. Episode 5. And you know what that means? It's Grammys time. I know you all want the tea on music's biggest night, but who has time to read all those articles?
Yeah.
Don't worry, we got you. We've got the highlights from People, USA Today, even Grammys.com, and we're going to break down all the wins, the snubs, and, just everything in between.
One thing that I think is really interesting about this year is how many artists are really pushing the boundaries of genre. Like, it's not just about the music. I think we're really seeing a cultural shift.
Okay, let's jump right in. Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter, your one album of the year, but get this.
Yeah.
It also makes her the first Black woman to ever win Best Country Album. Talk about making history.
I mean, this is huge. This isn't just a win for Beyoncé. I think it's a huge moment for country music. For decades, Black artists have been pushing boundaries in the genre, but they've rarely been acknowledged at this level.
Right. And remember, Beyoncé won Best Country Album like 15 years ago. She even mentioned it in her acceptance speech this year. She was saying how powerful it was to be back on that same stage winning again. Chills.
Yeah, I think it just highlights how long of a road it's been, And I hope that this win, maybe it opens doors for so many other talented artists, who have been overlooked for far too long. This could be a real turning point.
Okay, let's move on to another big winner, Kendrick Lamar. He swept all 5 rap categories, all 5 that he was nominated in. That's insane. Like, you never see that.
It really is. It's not just about winning. It's about the complete dominance. It shows that his music, which, is known for its lyrical complexity and social commentary, it's really resonating with voters.
Absolutely. Grammy.com even described his performance of Not Like Us as rattling the entire arena. Like they said, it shifted the energy of the whole night. You think about Song of the Year. You usually think like catchy pop tunes, right? But this win suggests like there's a real appetite for something a little more thought-provoking.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Not Like Us isn't just a song. It's a statement. And for it to win Song of the Year, that's major.
Okay. Now for the shocker of the night, right? Taylor Swift, 6 nominations, including Album of the Year for the Tortured Poets Department. Went home empty-handed. I'm still processing this.
I know, it is surprising, especially given her album's commercial success. But, the Grammys aren't just a popularity contest. They're about artistic merit, at least in theory, as judged by the voting body. So it's possible that they just connected with other nominees more deeply.
USA Today article did mention that Beyoncé's album is considered the frontrunner for Album of the Year. So maybe genre-bending records like hers are starting to kind of rewrite the rules of the game a little bit, like influencing voters in a whole new way.
That's a really great point, and it's a trend that we're seeing, It's not just Beyoncé. A lot of artists aren't staying in their lanes anymore, and it's really shaking things up. Maybe the Grammys are finally catching on.
Well, regardless of the outcome, Swift was a class act. She was even toasting with Jay-Z during Beyoncé's acceptance speech.
Yeah.
You have to admire that.
Absolutely. Speaking of Beyoncé, she also won Best Country Duo Group Performance for Time Most Wanted, her collaboration with Miley Cyrus.
See? Unstoppable. Winning solo, winning with collaborators, winning across genres. She's on another level.
It goes back to what we were saying, about her pushing boundaries. She's not just winning awards, she's changing the conversation about what country music can be.
Okay, let's talk Best New Artist. Always a fun one. And the Grammy goes to Chappell Roan.
Yeah, it was a tough competition. There were some really incredible nominees this year, like Benson Boone, Sabrina Carpenter, Dutchie, Krung Bin, Raye, Shabuzi, and Teddy Swims.
But Roan really stood out, and she really made a statement. Grammy.com quoted her acceptance speech. She basically called out the whole industry, asking, "We got you, but do you got us?"
Bold. Yeah, it was a powerful moment, and it speaks to, the struggles that new artists face, especially when they don't fit neatly into those established categories.
So true. Okay, before we wrap up this section, let's shout out a few more winners.
Yeah.
Sabrina Carpenter won Best Pop Vocal Album for Short and Sweet.
Well-deserved. Her album just showed off her incredible vocal range and her songwriting skills. Definitely a sign of great things to come from her.
Totally. And let's not forget Charlie XCX, taking home Bust Dance Electronic Album for Brat.
Oh, yeah. Her innovative sound and energy, they're undeniable. She's a real force in electronic music.
For sure. Doechii also had a huge win. She snagged Best Rap Album for Alligator Bites Never Heal.
Yeah.
It's just so exciting to see such diverse and talented artists being recognized.
Absolutely. And to round things out, St. Vincent showed everyone why she's a rock legend, winning both Best Rock Song for Broken Man and Best Alternative Music Album for All Born Screaming.
What a night. We've covered a lot of ground here, but we're just getting started. There is so much more to unpack about these wins, and you know what they mean for the music world. So buckle up.
Yeah.
We'll be right back to delve even deeper into the 2025 Grammys. So we talked about all these wins, but what I want to know is, what really stood out to you? What had you, cheering, maybe scratching your head a little bit, or hitting repeat on that playlist?
I think what's so fascinating about this year is that it feels like the Grammys are reflecting a much bigger cultural shift. It's not just about the music itself. I think it's about recognizing artists who are challenging norms
Right.
and using their platform and really pushing for change.
Totally. I mean, look at Beyoncé and Kendrick.
Yeah.
They're not just making music, they're making statements.
Right.
They're demanding more from the industry,
Yeah.
and it seems like the Grammys are finally starting to listen.
And you can't forget Chappell Roan and her acceptance speech. It wasn't just a thank you, it was a call to action. And it really resonated with a lot of people,
Yeah.
especially people who feel like their voices aren't being heard.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
And it brings up a bigger question, right? Are these Grammy wins just a blip on the radar? Or are we seeing a real move towards greater inclusivity in music and a celebration of artists who, you know, break the mold?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, on the one hand, you see artists like Beyoncé and Kendrick being celebrated for their artistry and their activism. It feels like real progress.
It does. It feels like a recognition that music can do more than just entertain. It can challenge, it can inspire, it can spark conversations.
Right, exactly. But then, on the other hand, you have to wonder, are these wins enough? Is the industry really changing, or is this just
Um,
a moment of good PR?
Yeah, it's a valid concern. I mean, we need to see this momentum continue.
Hmm.
It can't just be about a few high-profile wins. It has to be like a systemic shift, a genuine commitment to supporting and celebrating artists from all backgrounds
Mm.
and all genres.
I agree. It's about amplifying diverse voices,
Yeah.
not just tokenizing them, and recognizing that groundbreaking music can come from anywhere, not just the mainstream.
So what can we do, as listeners, to support this shift? What's our role in all of this?
I think for starters, we need to be more than just passive consumers of music. We need
Yeah.
to actively seek out and support artists who are pushing boundaries, who are challenging norms, and using their platform for good.
I love that. It's about being intentional with our listening, right? Like seeking out artists who are speaking to our souls,
Yeah.
who are making us think, who are reflecting the world we want to see.
And it's about spreading the word. Share their music with your friends. Talk about them on social media. Support them however you can. It's about creating a groundswell of support for these artists who deserve to be heard.
I love this conversation. This is so great. It's not just about who won what at the Grammys. It's about the future of music. It's about creating a more inclusive and diverse landscape where every artist has a chance to shine.
And recognizing that we as listeners have a role to play in shaping that future. Our choices matter.
They do. Mm-hmm. So as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with this. What artists are you excited about? Who's making music that's pushing boundaries and challenging your perspectives?
Yeah, go out and discover them, explore new genres, support emerging artists, and be part of the change that you want to see in the music world.
That's beautifully said. And on that note, we'll be back next week with a brand new episode of The Fame Files. Until then, keep those ears open and those minds curious. Okay, so we've talked about all the big winners and the snubs and what it all means, for the future of music. But now I want to hear from you. What really resonated with you?
Yeah, what surprised you? What questions do these Grammy wins raise for you about where music is headed?
We really want to know. Hit us up on social media, leave a comment on our website. We love hearing from you guys.
And in the meantime, we really encourage you to check out the music of all the artists that we've talked about today, especially the ones that maybe you're not so familiar with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You never know. You might just discover your next favorite artist, right? That's the beauty of music.
Yeah, there's always something new to explore.
And something to challenge your perspective. Something to move you. Music is so powerful.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for joining us for this Grammy Deep Dive. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode of The Fame Files.